Hey everybody, hopefully you can hear me. I'm taking this video with my cell phone in my garage, and as the title of the video says, I bought a Corvette, and here she is, 1993 40th anniversary in ruby red, C4 generation convertible, and this is one of the things that's been taking up a little bit of my time lately, which is why you haven't seen much on the channel. So you will be seeing some of the work that I'm doing on this car. It's in fairly good condition. 69,000 miles when I purchased it. Everything seemed to be pretty good under the hood. It was a Florida car and made its way last year to New York, where it had a bunch of work done according to the Carfax information. Most of the things that C4 owners are concerned about, like OptiSpark and things like that, were taken care of, and after inspection, it looks like, you know, the tune-up that was done, everything under the hood is pretty clean. I had it up on a lift 2 weekends ago because the vehicle speed sensor seems to have failed. Like a week after I got it, the speedometer and odometer stopped working. I actually replaced the cluster because it was a little faded and old. So the new cluster works great with the exception of the speedo and the odometer. So vehicle speed sensor seems to be where it's leading me, and I'm trying to track one down for this car. I found a few for some outrageous prices for used ones. So right now I'm still searching. I got feelers out from a few different vet dealers and vet part people, and hopefully they can come up with a new one and won't soak me for it because it's a discontinued part from GM. Other than that, I've already done front brakes with some performance rotors and brakes. I've disabled, actually I think it was already disabled, the ride control system with Bilstein shocks was already disabled in this car. And I'm not using this car for track. This is obviously, you know, see the top down, I had it out today, giving it a ride in one of the nicer days we've been having this fall on the Jersey Shore. So this car is meant to be a driver, not necessarily a track car. So I went with just a passive gas shock in the fronts. I have the passives for the back, new bushings, and rear rotors and brakes for that. So I may video that to help with some of the C4 owners that are getting into this, and see how that's done. There's some videos out there already. Most of the time the videos that are out there are not very, it's kind of like, this is what it looked like and now this is what it is now. There's a few guys that actually get in depth in how to do it, so that's probably where I'm going to go with that. But you'll be seeing this car on this channel, even though it's, I think I aptly named the name of the channel smartly, Diecasts, Garage, and Other Stuff. So this would be Other Stuff. So you'll see some of these videos of this car as I work on it. And yeah, hopefully get some other people to subscribe, some C4 owners to comment on some of the work that'll be done and share their tips and, you know, general knowledge of this car. I didn't go into this blindly. I started searching last July, for, I wanted to get one for my 50th birthday, and I turned 51 this past July, and I pulled the trigger. I've been searching for one. I wasn't sure if I was going to be a convertible lover. I was really looking for a coupe, and this car popped up, and I said I'm only going to buy a convertible if the convertible top is in decent shape and I can get a few years out of it before it needs to be replaced. And that was the case with this car. The convertible top is in decent shape. It's a little faded, but the rear window's in good shape. I also wanted to make sure I didn't get a car that needed a lot of interior work, because the interiors on these, you know, the replacements, you know, OEM replacements and NOS replacements, pretty hefty, especially if you have leather interior. And most of these cars, when somebody bought it, they went for the leather interior. So I'd rather put the money in mechanical work. I'm much better suited for mechanical work, and I'm not afraid to turn my own wrenches and get in there and get dirty. So I figured the money I would save on a pair of buckets for this car, can run up to $1,000 for a replacement. So I'd rather spend $1,000 in, if it needed transmission work or the top end needed to be rebuilt or something like that. So anybody that's watching that's looking into get a C4, some of the pitfalls of these automobiles are interior. If you're going to get in it, if you're going to go and you've got a budget that's astronomical, you got deep pockets and you just want to get something on the cheap, you want to pick one of these up for, in survivor condition that's a little high mileage, a little interior worn, and you can spend the time and the money to actually do that work, then go for it. Otherwise, this is a survivor car. This was repainted already. This is not the original paint. And there's some underlying bodywork that wasn't done properly, and you can see some of the issues that I'm going to have in the next couple of years. I have no qualms about having this car repainted at some point down the line, but the paint is decent. Like I said, the underlying bodywork wasn't so great. The interior was in good condition, and my top was in good condition. So I pulled the trigger on this car because you don't see many of these ruby red 40ths in my area, and some of the ones I have seen, not in the condition this car is in, and they were asking, $3,000 or $4,000 more than what I paid for this with higher mileage. So you got to make your checklist. If you're not afraid for mechanical work, and you'd rather have cosmetics taken care of, or the last owner was in the process of a restore, and they got the body and the interior is in good shape, but there's some more mechanical work and you're not opposed to doing that work, that might be the car for you. Vice versa, if you're not a mechanical person and you'd rather, have a mechanical car in better shape, no leaks, no fluid problems, no sensor problems, because that's famous for these, upside, a lot of the sensors are still available. But if you would rather have a cosmetic car, or you'd rather have a mechanically fit car and you could do the interior work, then that's what you would go for. So I'm just throwing my hat in the ring here and giving some C4 or prospectable C4 new owners what I looked for. So you can see what I looked for. Cars and, cosmetically, even though it was a repaint with some issues that might come up, good shape. Pop the hood, get under, make sure you sniff around. When I took it for a test drive, I got on it a little bit. Came back to the dealership because I got it from a dealer. It wasn't a private owner. Popped the hood open, stuck my nose in there for some smells, listened for things that didn't sound right, valve taps, exhaust leaks, because these are, the LT1 is kind of a workhorse motor. I mean, it's a very dependable motor, but they have their issues. So 27 years old on top of it, even though it's low mileage, everything is still 27 years old. So, you could be looking at head gaskets, valve cover gaskets, oil pan gasket, trans gaskets, things that are just naturally going to age, and they will fail. So I'm not opposed to that. I'm actually looking at the Eastwood quick jack system so I can get this car in the air. And if I have to do anything underneath, I can tackle it myself. So that's where I made the trade-offs. I wanted something that I would rather have the outward condition and the interior condition pretty pristine, or as close to pristine as possible. And I managed to get, I think, across the board, a solid vehicle. And I've had it now for maybe 2 months. And she's gone for probably, 6 or 7 really long trips on some back roads here in New Jersey, which is why I bought it. This is a cruiser car. You want to take it around the twisty turns and things like that, with the top down, and win through whatever hair is left on the top of the dome here. And right now, I couldn't be happier. Some of the little glitchy things that are setting me off Obviously, speed sensor is one. After this car reaches temperature and you ride it a little bit, you get it on the highway and you start pushing it a little bit to see how she pulls. The service engine sensor or service engine soon light comes on. The SDS sensor must trigger somewhere. And I don't lose any power. I don't lose anything. The light comes on. I take it home. I park it in the garage. I turn the key off, start it back up, and the light is off. So I haven't gone underneath and done the code trick with the piece of wire in the two conductor ends of the ODB sensor and seeing if there's any codes there yet, because I haven't really worried about it. But I think soon, maybe that's something I'll actually make a video of to see what the codes were. But everything works in this car. Air conditioning works, heaters work, the heated mirrors work. I haven't checked the bladders in the bucket seats for the air bladders that pump your seats up in the sides and the corners. I haven't checked that yet. I'm not really concerned about that. But the power seats work. They go up and down each way. I think it's an 8-way seat, maybe a 10-way seat. I'm not sure. Door panels are good. I have a window on the passenger side, little scratches in it because the felts on the inside of the rail seem to be a little worn, so it could be dirt and some other things that scratch that window. Beyond that, like I said, she's a solid car all the way around. I've already done the front suspension and the brakes. Now I'm going to do the rear and find out what that sensor light or that check engine light is coming on and see if I can get a code and see what that is. And today, I guess about a week ago, driving the car, it was chilly overnight. It was probably about 40 degrees overnight in New Jersey. I got the car, actually it was the day I was going to take it to have it put up on the lift. And as I was going down the highway, I had a whistling, hear that cricket? If you can hear that cricket, imagine that cricket noise, but a solid chirp, almost like a belt slipping sound, or even a fuel injector sound when it's not firing correctly. So looked it up on the forums, and a lot of the forums said similar things. Once the car got up to operating temperature, that noise went away. So as soon as I got to the shop, I popped the hood and I looked to make sure it wasn't a belt, because I didn't want to blow a belt somewhere down on the highway on my way home. The belt looks great. The tensioner was fine. So I didn't totally throw the belt out the window, but I searched on the forums, and a lot of the guys on the forums have been super helpful. You know, you got to search for what you're looking for. And somebody said that their power steering pump was making that noise. And then once the car got up to temperature, and I guess the fluid inside it either expanded or contracted, however it works, the noise went away. So today I popped the hood, got a brand new bottle of Delco power steering fluid, got my turkey baster out, sucked all the old fluid out, and it was coffee colored, like black coffee. So anybody who knows, power steering fluid is clear. So turkey basted all the old fluid out. It smelled like burnt coconuts. Refilled it, put the cap on it, got her out on the road, and no noise. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow morning. Temperature's supposed to go down again here, around the 50s, maybe the high 40s overnight, and my garage is not heated. This is a detached garage. And tomorrow morning I'm just going to get a cup of coffee and fire it up and see if that noise is there when it's cold, from a standstill, from a cold start. And we'll see if that rectified the issue. I've seen remanufactured power steering pumps. Prices go all the way from, $59 to $159. And there's different brands and all kinds of stuff. So, as a new C4 owner, I knew what I was getting into for the most part. If you're going to, like I said, you're going to be a new C4 owner, or you are a new C4 owner, and you're not quite sure where you're headed, just be patient with everything. You're going to have to absolve yourself to the fact that you're going to probably spend money. And if you can spend money on just parts and do the labor yourself, that's part of, I think, the joy of any vehicle ownership, whether it's a Corvette or whether it's, a Porsche or a Ferrari or whatever it is that your, car du jour for you, or car, favorite car is, not car du jour. I happen to be a General Motors guy. I'm a Chevy guy. And I wasn't even sold on getting a Corvette because I know that sometimes they're problematic and you're taking over somebody else's car. You don't know what they really did to it, if they beat on it or, maintained it very well. But you have to, pretty much say to yourself, am I going to be in this for the long haul? Am I going to want to really part with, the extra bucks? If I need to do something major, especially if it's mechanical, transmission wise or motor, you have to rebuild the top end of the motor or you maybe have to pull a motor. So that's a resort. You have to look at that realistically, logically, and say, I could get a car with 20,000 miles, but it's still 30 years old. It's still going to run into issues. So you have to be a little cautious and wary of that. If money is no object and you're just, hey, you're in it and you're going to go for it, then go for it. I see a lot of people arguing about, well, what's a C4 worth? It's worth what you're willing to pay for it. Are they going to go up in value? They might. Everything points to that direction, but let's not kid ourselves. They made a lot of these. And even though this is a 40th anniversary edition convertible, they're still, I think the number was 9,000. They still made about 9,000 in this color. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw last. Even if it was 5,000, that's still a lot. It's not like a rare car. Is it hard to find? Yeah, but they're out there. So arguing about values, if that's the reason you're purchasing one of these for value or an investment, probably not going to come to fruition, at least not in a hurry. So you might have to hold on to I might have to hold on to this car for 20 years in order to see a monetary return of a value increase. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. So I would say don't buy a C4 if that's your intention. If you're looking to get money or an investment, probably look at a C3. They seem to be rising in value. They have been. They didn't produce as many. But again, now you're looking at that generation and the issues those cars had. So there's always trade-off. There's always a balance between, what I'm going to pay, what it possibly could be worth. Am I going to take a bath on this if I had to sell it in an emergency, or you were just tired of it? So it's kind of like buying a boat. Buying a boat is a money pit. This could be a money pit, but if you drive it and maintain it, and you have some resources that can help, good mechanical people or interior people. Even now, I'm getting rid of the Delco Gold or the Delco Bose Gold system that's in here for a radio. I think they're garbage. It's 27 years old. It does work, but I don't have a CD. I still own CDs. I don't use them. I certainly don't play cassettes. So I've already been looking for, touch panel systems and putting a backup camera in this car to give it a little more modern features. Because if you're taking on a long drive, you're going to want your cell phone sitting there, a GPS. You might want to plug in a USB stick and play your own music. You don't want to have the radio. So these are all things that are possible for these cars, but a little bit of cash, a little bit of ingenuity, a little bit of fortitude to actually get in there and do the work yourself, I think, is pretty much what I'm seeing from a lot of these C4 owners. And you want to enjoy the car. If you want a trailer queen and you want to take it to shows, and that's another option. So buy the best car that you can afford. If it's somebody already maintained it and they're looking to get rid of it now, and it's a total cream puff, and you're willing to pay top dollar of what it could come out to a retail value, that's what you should get. This car is not that car. This is not a show car by any means. It's a survivor car. Would I be proud to take it to a Corvette group showing in a parking lot of a Burger King? Damn straight I would. And more so to meet the people and get some of the information that's out there. Especially if you can meet people face to face and, get into a conversation. Hey, this car makes this noise. And, I had that problem and this is what I did to fix it. Maybe you should check it out. So, forums, actually being in touch with people in your area that are Corvette owners, and groups that might be in your area. I've been seeing information on that too, and I'm actually looking. I found a couple of groups on Facebook for New Jersey Corvette owners, which is a great thing. And just C4 owners in general, there's a few groups that I've been pinging people and getting information from. So that's really all I've got as far as information, about this particular car and why I did it. So let me give you a quick run around and show you some of the things about this car, and we'll take a look together. So you can see my filthy handprints where I was just leaning on this car. But she's a 40th anniversary, and ruby red is the manufacturer color. Convertible, as you can see, my top is rolled away. I'll show you, see if this shows up. This is one of the paint issues I was telling you about. See those little bubbles? That's from bad prep work. I had spent some time doing auto body work in a previous life, but I can live with that. In a pinch, that could probably be spot fixed and then melt paint and then redo it. There's some swirl marks and things that I probably will take care of myself. I think I'm going to do a ceramic coat fix for that next spring. If I find the time before the dead of winter gets here, maybe I'll get it done before next year. And there is my lovely emblem. I've ordered a new one. That one's kind of old and faded. The flip-up headlights do work, which is another thing. If you're looking to buy one, make sure they work. From what I understand, it's not a terribly involved job. It's just you need some patience to get it done. And it was something I didn't want to have done right away. So pretty much, like I said, everything worked on this vehicle when I picked it up. The other thing is refinishing these salad shooter wheels here. You can actually remove the clear coat, polish them up, and then re-clear coat them, or just polish them and make sure you tend to them regularly. So that's on the drawing board here for this winter. That will be a winter project to get this car up in the air and take care of these wheels and get them back to a better finish. This is another project. This is something else you're going to want to look for, especially if you're in for a convertible. You're going to want to make sure these pin grabbers release and lock. You want to make sure there's no leaks or any evidence of a leak. This is 27-year-old. You can see somebody put some speed grip or something there to possibly, maybe there was a leak at one point. Like I said, this was a Florida car, so it didn't see winter as the Northeast here sees winter, but it did see rain, I'm sure. You can see there's a little rust in there. But as far as me being the next owner or current owner, this car will not be out in the rain. So this car is only going to go out when the weather is nice. Otherwise, she will stay here right in the garage. And here is our dash. You see a little separation there. You can see that foam, the underlying foam. So we'll tackle that too over the winter. But no rips, no big gouges, and no major shrinkage of anything. It doesn't even look like they smoked unless that's a replacement ashtray. I'm not sure. There's some scratches there. I'm looking for replacements for that. That is a new lid for the console. The dealer actually put that on for me before I picked the car up. There's my seats controls and the ride control, which is disabled currently. And I am not putting it back because I do not want to have those options. I don't need it. Next owner wants to put it back on. I've saved the shocks and the I forgot what they call them. The little top pieces that turn the shock and adjust the ride. But our leather is good. No major rips. You can see there's some wear, but it's not terrible. Our embroidery, the seat is still good. So that's good. You can see that door panel. Looks like, it could be brand new. Maybe it was replaced. I doubt it though, because this car is pretty clean. And the other reason I doubt it is because there is wear. So the carpet wear here, this is where your butt pretty much slides across the threshold to get in and out. But there is no major wear. I'm sorry for the cricket. It's cricket season out here in New Jersey. But this door is pretty much pristine. And again, somebody may have put some speed grip on there. But all of these rubber kits are available for replacement, and that'll be on deck. The rear deck lid here, unless it was replaced, seems to be in great shape. And you can see the scuff marks from where the pins for your convertible top lock into those recessed locks. There is one small, it looks like somebody, after they repainted this car, something they backed into. So I have a little spider webbing there. Again, not the end of the world for a Survivor car. Not complaining. And that spider webbing in that paint went across the top as well. So again, having a previous life as a body guy, I'd consider pulling this off, repairing it, and as long as I can match the paint, is that if this repaint that they did is the actual color match of the original ruby red color, then I would have no qualms about just taking this off and redoing this piece. There's no cracked lenses on this car. All the lights work. Really good shape. I did order, I actually have it in the box, NOS replacement for that emblem on the gas lid. The power antenna works. Again, you can see scuff marks from when you take your convertible top and you're having trouble finding the hole with the pin placement. That's what happens. So that could be repaired as well. And not at great expense. So we were, I was pretty fortunate and pretty happy with the condition. Even the belts here on the door, felt belt, decent condition. They put a screw in there though. So this door panel must have been rattling and they didn't have the right clips inside, or they got tired and frustrated. But that can be fixed. Our steering wheel is in good shape. The new bezel, I didn't bring the key out with me, but that's a brand new bezel and instrument cluster, which was not a terrible job, but you have to contort yourself a little bit to get underneath. You got to drop the steering column. Helpful hint, find yourself a 2x4 or something that you can cut to size, so when you go back to reinstall and lift the column back up, you can wedge it up and have both hands free. So that was what I learned doing this job. Here's some more issues. You can see speed grip. So that led me to believe there was a leak at one time, but it didn't look like it affected the carpeting or anything. And on this side, because this is the driver's side, obviously got more use. So somebody's tuchus was sliding back and forth across the threshold to get in and out, and that's where the wear is. And right now I can live with that. I could buy a replacement if I really wanted to. I may buy the replacement carpet for this panel here, for the kick panel, and we're definitely going to get in there and lube that up and see if I can find a replacement cover. And considering now that it's 27 years old and New Jersey DMV no longer inspects for parking brakes and no longer inspects passenger cars that are 25 years old or older and under 250 pounds, this car will not be inspected, does not need to be inspected. So the park brake might actually become a thing of the past for this car. I may actually remove it. I don't know. So I'll give you a quick, let's give you a quick under the hood look. These hoods are as heavy as you think they would be, but you can get them up with one arm. It looks like either this was replaced. This is the control unit. So it was either replaced or the label just got really funked up. I do not know. This is another area that you want to focus on. If you're going to purchase one, make sure that your hood release latches work. You can actually I've seen videos of guys that have actually taken like a piece of wire and wired it to this and leave it tucked under here just in case your hood release doesn't work. You can still pull on the wire that you're hiding and pull it out and raise the roof, or raise the hood. But this is pretty much as I got it. I have not yet gotten in here and touched anything to clean it. This is it, as purchased. And the things that I look for as being a very ADD sort of person is to make sure that the spark plug wires were routed and not all jammed up and curled up in here. I made sure, connectors looked good. Even if they're replaced or they're replacement pieces, I don't care. I want to make sure that the plastics look good. When 27-year-old plastic starts going bad and you want to replace it, and you start fiddling with these clips, you got to be very, very careful. So hoses looked good. You can see some things like that's definitely an original spacer in there. Throttle body looked good. Even if these are replacement decals, which I doubt. I think this car was very well cared for down in Florida. They did replace one of the motors for the flip-up headlights. That's a replacement. That's an original. So something definitely happened with this headlamp, because that color is not that color. So this is a replacement off of maybe like a cinnamon red-ish Corvette, and something must have happened to the original bezel after it was painted, and they never bothered repainting this one, which is fine. I will repaint it myself. But all of these work. All those emblems are good, even under here. I don't know why. I haven't inspected this yet, but my hood lamps don't work. So they could just be disconnected, or maybe the bulbs are cooked. But no evidence of any fluids being blown up. Everything is in pretty good shape. So I really wanted to show you this inspection of what I ended up purchasing and what kind of condition it was in. So you can see all of these vacuumed bulbs are good. The plastic connectors are good for your headlights. I really didn't fine-tooth comb it. I wanted to make sure just visually what I could see right out of the box, or right out of from under the hood, was in good shape. Back around the other side, I'll show you the other side of the motor. And I'm going to take my frosty beverage because it's Saturday and it's beer day. So I did have to replace the windshield washer fluid lid because it didn't exist. It was gone. So everything is pretty nice. As you can see, the wiring harness is here. Like I said, spark plug wires routed nice down to the OptiSpark. They weren't all entangled mess and gross, which means to me whoever owned it previously was their own mechanic, and a very good one, or handy, or they took it somewhere and whoever serviced it for them, did a great job. So she's pretty clean under here, which gave me the confidence to pull the trigger on the purchase. I actually I got the dealership down $2,500 because of my experience of bodywork. The first thing I told them was this car was repainted. This is not the original paint. This is not an X dollar car that you have this price tag on. So I can walk away from it. But if you want it to sit here for 6 months, that's on you. I'll get it for the price I want it for. I'll just wait. So the owner was a little smart guy. So what do you mean it was repainted? Can you show me? I said I could show you 10 spots where this car was repainted. And you can see it right here. That's red overspray inside that hood. See the reddish tint? That's overspray from a repaint. there's a run underneath the Corvette emblem in the back where they ran clear coat. So inside the door jamb, there's overspray. There's overspray right there. So sometimes, you know, I'm not that guy that I don't like to haggle for a living, but I know what I want to pay for. I know what I want to buy, and I'm not going to have somebody shyster me. There's my new passive shocks, KYB. People seem to complain about them. You know, some of the hoity-toity C4 owners, those are the worst shocks in the planet. Okay. But I like them because they seem to do the job for me. The ride immediately improved. How long are they going to last? That's another story. But those were replaced. I just did that 3 weeks ago. The only thing I saw under the hood here, when I was looking originally, is something was tied in. They spliced something in there. Haven't investigated what it is. Hey, the car is running right now. I'm not going to worry too much. The other thing I noticed was that clamp wasn't bolted where it's supposed to go. So we'll find out where that's supposed to go and fix that too. Again, does not affect the performance of the car. It's just ADD. Windshield wipers worked. Everything worked. And this is what I got. And this is what I'm working with. And I'm working with cleaning up the last detail that was on here, because this is all, that's all wax and compound that was never taken out and washed away. Not the end of the world. So that's it, guys. That's my 1993 40th anniversary, my C4 Corvette with 69,000 miles and in need of some TLC. So you will see more of this car on this channel. Hopefully it doesn't take away too much time from my diecast work. But I appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel. And if anybody who is a subscriber to the channel is a Corvette owner, that would be great. Just get in touch with me and we can talk shop, especially if you're a C4 owner. And exchange some pleasantries and some tips. And while I'm here, I'll show you one more thing. I'll show you the inside deck of the... I gotta put my beer somewhere. Oh my goodness. Hold on, bear with me. So here is the release. You can see that little yellow button. There's one in the console as well. There's a release button there. Look at that. To hold your cassettes. And change holder. My goodness. 1993. They were really advanced, weren't they? So here you go is the release for tucking your little hood away. Or your roof. Here's your spindles. You want to make sure that these have some bite still left on them. They're not all rounded off. If they're rounded off, chances are it means your hood is going to jiggle back and forth when it's on your off your A-pillar here. So make sure that's in good shape. Just like I said, I knew there was some water issue here, but not enough to affect the interior. And again, I'm not taking the car out in the rain. And if I do, this will be addressed first. And you can see I got me some new speakers. I got some new front speakers and rear speakers. Rockford Fosgate. I picked those up today because the price was right, and we will eventually be addressing the Bose Gold system and replacing all of that. So everything under the rear deck here for your compartment to house your top, excellent shape. Very clean car. Was I fortunate? Yes. Doubly fortunate that the car started its life in Florida. So whoever owned it, actually there were two previous owners. One was a single owner, the first owner. The second owner was family members, and it was a couple, so there's technically 3 owners, just 2 transfers of possession. And she came up here in 2019 in July and serviced by a station in somewhere in New York, upstate New York. And they did transmission work. They did the tune-up, which to me included OptiSpark, and I looked at the OptiSpark, it looks new. So that was taken care of. The car runs fantastic. I think maybe I'll just do a startup tomorrow, maybe make another video. And the other thing I noticed after the fact, I didn't know this was a thing, but the power brake booster, plastic. So apparently that's a thing. You do not want to get the plastic one. So this was done and it looks recent. So the power brake booster was done. I do not have an issue with the brakes. After a cold start, like first starting it up and backing out of the garage, it seems a little, you kind of got to get on the brake to stop this thing. So I'm hoping when the rear brakes are done and the new rotors are on and I bleed the rear end, hopefully that takes away some of that stiffness. And if not, something I'll just keep an eye on, because this job, from what I understand, a real pain in the butt, because you have to get underneath the dash, basically upside down, under your brake pedal. You have to get way under there. I don't know if you can see anything, but you got to get way under there. And if you saw the opening, you know that I'm a pretty round guy. I don't know if that's going to be a job that I'm going to want to tackle by myself. I might need to get a skinny person to help me, if that ever goes. But you want to buy, if you can, not the plastic, you want to buy a metal power brake booster. So if you're shopping for one, look for, I forgot what years, this has a single, it's a single master cylinder. Older models, I think maybe 1990 and previous, have a double system. There's a double reservoir. But you want to look for a metal power brake booster. Apparently, these will fail. I'm sure this is going to fail on me at some point, and I'm going to have to put a metal one in. So look for that too when you're shopping. Again, I wanted to see a clean engine compartment. I didn't want to see wires flailed all over the place. This looks like, to me, this was replaced, and this is why. I'm not sure how this is going to affect anything because I haven't researched enough of this yet as far as the computer, but we'll see. These are not impossible to get. They're a little pricey though, and I think there's places that actually do repops or will recondition these. So that's where I'm at, and this is it. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy actually seeing a real car on the channel as opposed to Matchbox and Hot Wheels and everything else that we do. And you'll see a little bit more of this vehicle. You might see a lot more of this vehicle. So again, if anybody is a current subscriber to the channel or is a C4 owner and just stumbled on this video because of the title and the tags, subscribe to the channel and, you know, send me a message. Let me know that you're a vet owner, prospective vet owner, and we'll talk shop and share info. So again, thanks to everybody who's already subscribed and keeps watching. You know, you've helped grow the channel quite a bit. I've got a few more subscribers on the hook, and I certainly appreciate it. I hope everybody is well in the time of COVID, and everybody's healthy. And again, thanks for watching, and I will see everybody again very soon. Thanks.